Hey guys, what's going on? This is John with Gamester81.com, and I've revisited Pinball Hall of Fame. I've done a couple walkthroughs before, but they always get new games. It's always interesting to walk through here. They have over 200 different gaming machines, including pinball machines and classic arcades, and they have over of that 200, 150 of them plus are pinball tables. So pretty amazing. Here's Transformers. This is a brand new Stern table. Came out recently based on the Transformers trilogy. And on the right, when you walk in, you got a whole bunch of vending machines, and there's some classic arcade games. You got first is Super Mario Brothers. There's Mario Brothers. Some of these games weren't necessarily working, but I'll tell you that the ones that were working were in great shape. There's Tetris by Atari. There's an interesting lawsuit, but Atari had the rights to make Tetris for the arcades, while they didn't have the right to make them for the home console or computer. And there's a big lawsuit between Nintendo. There's Elevator Action. I had that for the NES, I believe. Taito makes that game. Here's like a multi-cade in one, several games. Here's Joust and Donkey Kong, some of my favorite games. There's Miss Pac-Man as well. There's three of my favorite games right there in a row. And the games were anywhere from a quarter to 50 cents. Most of the classic arcade games were a quarter. There's Nintendo Super System that we just walked by, and that's basically like a Play Choice 10, where you'll be able to play three classic Super Nintendo games. There's a Pong clone called Battle Paddle, Robotron, or Paddle Battle, I forget the name of it, something like that. But classic, another different Roadrunner game. We were past the Atari version of Roadrunner earlier. That's really, really old school racing game. Defender by Williams. To the left that is Punch Out by Nintendo. Dual screen, dual monitor. Punch Out for the arcade is a lot different than Punch Out for the NES. Both are great games, but they just play a lot differently. Here's a row where we start getting into some more pinball games. Attack from Mars, which is classic. These are more some Ballet classic games. Everything's organized by manufacturer, whether it's Ballet, Gottlieb, Data East, Sega, Stern. They kind of categorize them by manufacturer, which is cool, and also by date, which is really neat. There's Strikes and Spares. There's an interesting bowling game where you have to hit the pinball to do like a bowling game. There's Paperboy by Atari, kind of randomly placed there. I love the arcade. There's Twilight Zone, a really wide body. Love the hockey bubble. Black Zone as well. Here is Super Mario Brothers. It's got Gottlieb. This is like a small version, a miniature one. Revenge from Mars. Pinball 2000. That's one of the last pinball games that Bally Midway actually made. Williams actually made, rather. And that in the Star Wars Episode 1. They actually do. This is non-profit. They donated $400,000 last year to the Salvation Army. So all proceeds for this go to the Salvation Army. This place is always packed, but it's amazing that they made $400,000 of proceeds last year. That's pretty great. Very generous of them. Doctor Who. Jurassic Park, Lost World by Sega. And here's some classic games as well. There's baseball. I love these classic baseball games. Awesome. Stargate. Many Stargate fans. These are all Data East games, rather. These are all Data East, not Sega. Stand corrected. Here is coming up on Star Wars by Data East. Absolutely love this game. Really, really fun. Lethal Weapon. I love how they just get these awesome movies here. Yeah, Flintstones, the movie. There's obviously a lot of classic ones from the 60s and 70s. Captain Fantastic. I think that's Elton John. It looks like him anyway. These are some Bally ones, classic ones. And a lot of these arcade or all these pinball tables will have like a code you can actually scan, like a barcode, and you do it with your smartphone, and it will kind of tell you a brief history about the game. Track and Field by Konami, a tabletop. Ice Cold Beer, which is really, you take the quarter, and it's kind of an interesting play dynamic. Papa Shot, Playboy. Left of that, there's been a number of Playboy pinball machines or tables. That's one of them. Cyclone, classic Williams game. Street Fighter 2 by Gottlieb. These are getting some Gottlieb titles. Popeye. Scared Stiff by Bally. This is Bally. That's Williams. That's Adams Family. The highest, most selling table of all time. They sold the most tables of that of any other game machine. Waterworld by Gottlieb. Good table. Not very good movie, in my personal opinion. Didn't do very well. Black Knight by Williams, classic. Here's Harley Davidson. That's by Sega. These are some Sega titles. Lost World. The other Jurassic Park we passed earlier was just Jurassic Park. This is Lost World, the sequel. Here's Spider-Man. Up front, you got more modern games. There's a lot of Stern titles. Stern is the only manufacturer left making pinball tables from the golden age of pinball manufacturing. Family Guy, which is really too bad. It's good that they're still around, though. Indiana Jones by Stern. Austin Powers Medieval Madness. This is Williams, kind of oddly placed here, but that's a really fun game. That one sells for a lot of money. A lot of money. There's Pirates of the Caribbean. They've actually modded it so the lights in the back changed. Simpsons Pinball Party, which is really fun. Monopoly, Roller Coaster. That big Buck Hunter right here is actually signed by Gary Stern, the owner and founder of Stern Pinball. Lord of the Rings. Cleopatra. These are just some more classic pinball tables. That's a really weird one where a pinball actually moves around with a magnet. It's kind of strange. Gravator, I think it might be called. Here's the Pinball Circus. This is a prototype, one of only 2 ever made. It's by Williams, and it's stacked different levels. It's really fun. I think it's $1 or $2 to play, though. Most of these tables are anywhere from 50 cents to $1, though. Cubert's Quest by Gottlieb. Gottlieb actually made Cubert games for the arcade. Superman, that's by Atari. Atari didn't make too many pinball tables, but that's one of them. It's a wide body. Really fun one. There's the Machine sequel to Pinbot by Williams. This Pinbot, you may play it on the NES as part of the NES of all things. Space Shuttle, these are classic Williams ones. Funhouse. Comet, Indiana Jones. I love that one. This Indiana Jones is a lot different than the Stern version I showed you earlier, and that's a lot more fun in my personal opinion. Jackbot, this is actually part of the Pinbot series. This is the 3rd one. Not as well known as the other 2. It's a machine and stuff, but it's really, really fun. It plays very, very similar to Pinbot, actually. If you're a big fan of that game, check it out. This place is located just east of the main strip off Tropicana. A really, really fun place to check out. I'd much rather put my money into these things than a slot machine because I'm terrible luck gambling. So I get my money's worth definitely out of this place over spending on gambling. South Park by Stern. South Park and Family Guy for Stern actually are the same table essentially, just different characters but the same ramps and everything. They really didn't change much on it. Guess they did that to cut costs maybe. I don't know. Terminator 2. Star Trek. I love this one. If you look at the hologram, actually changed by the way you look at it. They'll actually kind of go in and out, which is pretty cool. Transport in and out. There's Star Trek is the original one, based on the original series, and my favorite pinball, Next Generation by Williams. We love the sound of that. Here's Stern. This is a limited edition one because it's got the neon lights and stuff. Really cool, based on the modern Tron movie. There's Tron the arcade there as well, right next to it. This row is just full of classic tables. And these are more simplistic, but they're still a lot of fun. And these are usually about 25 cents to 50 cents to play. It's got the classic sounds to them. For a while in the States, pinball was actually outlawed, and a lot of these tables were manufactured overseas and stuff, or made here. The main hub for pinball tables was Chicago. That's where Gottlieb and Stern and Bally Midway and all them were based out of. I'm not sure why Chicago, but it just happened to be the place. So it's kind of the mecca of pinball tables. More classic pins. There's a creepy clown coming up on that. Not sure what that's about. Flipper, and some of these, like one of these is the first turntable ever made. That game is just like the ice cold beer game I showed you earlier. You have to move the quarter and control that. And at the end here, there's more modern tables. You got Avatar, based on obviously the movie. And that's actually a 3D marquee. Very cool. This is by Stern. These next 3 are by Stern. The Rolling Stones and Iron Man. This is a weird lock one where you have to unlock it literally, and it's kind of weird. It's all based on timing and stuff. I haven't seen something like that before. Very unique. This row has some games that aren't necessarily working, like the Simpsons Bowling, but there's a bunch of vending tables here. This is a huge facility. The shooting game. Coming up here on Star Trek, this is a cockpit coming up here to the left of this, and this is a Vector style game by Sega based on the Star Trek the motion picture. Really fun. Currently not working, which is sad because before when I was here it was working, but I imagine it's pretty hard to replace. There's Dragon's Lair, Gauntlet, Legends, Zaxxon, Venture. And right here is Frenzy by Stern. Stern did make some arcades as well. A pinball, not very many. There's Turtles by Konami. Look at this. This is Missile Command by Sega, but as most of us know, Atari made it. This is a Japanese version of it. Is an import. Kind of unusual that it's there, tucked in the back. Miss Pac-Man, another one. That's not dedicated cab though. Donkey Kong Jr., Dr. Mario, Wacko, kind of a strange cabinet-looking design. Another Defender, Gorf, really fun. I love Gorf. Anyway, if you're ever in the Vegas area, definitely check out this place, Pinball Hall of Fame. I think you guys will really enjoy it if you're into video games and pinball machines. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.